Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
On October 15th, 2018, 13-year-old Jayme Closs was at home with her parents, James and Denise. They enjoyed dinner, relaxed, and eventually went to bed. But at around 12:50 a.m., Jayme was woken up by her dog Molly, barking at something outside. She looked through her window and noticed a strange car in the driveway. Jayme quickly woke up her parents to tell them about the possible stranger. Denise grabbed her daughter and they barricaded themselves in the bathroom, while James went to the door to see who was there. Just minutes later, at 12:53 a.m., the Barron County Sheriff's Department received a 911 call. A woman could be heard screaming, but dispatchers were unable to make out much of what she was saying. They thought multiple people could be heard in the background. Then the line went dead. Dispatchers tried calling back but got no answer. Deputies James Presley, Eric Sidani, and John Fick immediately headed over to the Closs home. As they drove west on Highway 8, a red vehicle traveling eastbound pulled over to the shoulder as they passed, with their lights and sirens activated. They arrived at the house at 1 a.m. A red pickup truck and a white SUV were parked in the driveway. No outside lights were on, and there were no immediate signs of stress. As the deputies moved closer to the house, they saw a light on in an upstairs bedroom. Deputy Sidani knocked on the front door.
Sheriff's office! Sheriff's office! Suicide.
Indicating the voicemail.
Sheriff's office! You don't know that. There were several voices. Sheriff's office! Who's inside? Watch our asses, John.
The door was open. Deputy Sidani went to knock again to announce that they were coming in when he saw a pair of legs on the floor near the front door.
Sheriff's office! Announce yourself! I don't see a gun, guys, so let's not write it off as a suicide.
He moved in closer and saw a man laying on his back with what appeared to be a gunshot wound to his face under his right eye. The 3 deputies moved in further into the house, announcing for anyone inside to show themselves. No one responded.
There's a shotgun shell, but I don't see a shotgun. Go grab a long gun. Okay. One at a time.
No.
Quickly. 2 shotgun shells.
Deputy Fick retrieved a ballistic shield from the squad car. It appeared the man was shot through a glass window in the front door, likely as he answered it for someone. The wood door was splintered, as if someone had fired a second round in order to break the deadbolt to get inside. The Barron County Emergency Response Team, along with additional officers from the Barron Police Department, were called to the scene. The sheriff was called immediately.
We're still missing a gun?
We're missing a lot.
Yep. I'm going to stand here until...
You got to have them advise 303-301, 1 male down, deceased. Still have the house to clear. Several rounds spent.
The 3 deputies moved inside. They found a spent shotgun shell near the man. There was another round found near the front door. Then they cleared the living room. While moving through the hallway, they found another spent shell casing. The bathroom door appeared to have been kicked in.
We got doors, we got hallways. Eric, cover. I'm going to break left. You cover this room to the right, okay?
Okay.
Cover that room. Fuck, we got a dead body in this one. We got a body in here, too. Fuck.
Inside the bathroom, Deputy Fix spotted a woman in the bathtub with a gunshot wound to her head. She, too, appeared to be deceased. A cell phone was laying upside down on the floor. They continued on.
Something hit this chair. Be careful going over it for evidence. You gotta tip it forward, but just step over it if you can.
A chair at the kitchen table was tipped back, as if it had been hit by a projectile and had splintered. A back bedroom appearing to belong to a child was empty. The upstairs rooms and downstairs basement were both searched and cleared. EMTs arrived and confirmed both adults were deceased.
We're missing a suspect. We didn't see a shotgun, right, guys? I saw a case, did I not? Do you guys want to do, Eric or two of you pair up and just do a wide perimeter search? A walk, make sure we're not missing anybody?
Why would someone want Jayme and Denise Closs dead? Where was the suspect? And more importantly, where was their 13-year-old daughter, Jayme Closs? This is Jillian, and you are listening to Court Junkie, episode 122. A light, freezing sleet and snow flurries were falling around law enforcement as they gathered at the Closs residence. It was a single-story ranch-style home built into a hill. A wooden deck extended off of one side of the home with glass French-style patio doors that served as a side entrance. The front door faced Highway 8. Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald arrived on scene, and Deputy Presley debriefed him on what he saw.
911 call came in. All they could hear screaming and yelling. I heard some of the tapes as I was gearing up to go. Okay. Bloody screaming, yelling. Okay. Sounded like a couple people, maybe not. Phone went dead. She tried calling back, no answer. We get here minutes later. Pull up, did a slow approach, didn't hear anything, which is odd. Get to the front door is open. Okay. Further look, it's splintered, kicked open. Okay. Dead body right at the front door. Heavy trauma to the face, gunshot, looks like a shotgun shell to the face. Okay. There's one expended shell next to the body. We ended up deciding to clear the house. Found another one in the bathroom, almost directly straight back from the front door, okay, in the bathtub, dead. One more shotgun shell in that entryway area leading into the bathroom. Cleared the rest of the house, nothing. So, no gun. No gun.
Detective Jeffrey Nelson was assigned the Emergency Response Team, or ERT, leader.
Where that deceased was in the bathroom,
yep,
directly on the floor behind that is matter. I don't know if that's directed from him or if that's from her, but that bathroom door is kicked in multiple times.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
So we can light
and it
this
was
up. I just don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Whoever was here is gone.
I'm assuming.
Yep.
Will's doing entry and exit log. We're gonna put some tape up. They did a cursory walk around of the line to make sure there's nothing on the outside here. We didn't see anything, so we're out of there.
Investigators searched the outside of the home and noticed some tread patterns. They ran crime scene tape up around the house and driveway. Next, they illuminated the yard with tactical lights, but were unable to find any footprints or shoe impressions. Around 1:45 a.m., the emergency response team made a second sweep of the house.
Who shut the phone off?
Huh?
The phone went dead.
She disconnected.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wonder if the phone was by the doorway.
It was.
Like outside of the door.
I could have sworn that was a female yelling, unless it was an open line and you could hear her in the
gargling?
No, it was screaming.
Yeah, we could hear screaming.
She replayed it when I was belting up.
And I don't see a distinct, like, you know how the gauge, it looks like a gauge opened him up. I don't see a distinct, hers is just one.
But that shell, that shell looked like it was in that hallway area.
Yeah.
Like from the door kind of shot.
Investigators concluded the assailant had used a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun to shoot Jayme in the face as he bent over to look through the window. Then, the assailant fired a second round into the deadbolt to breach the front door. This round went inside the home, striking and tipping the chair, and was found next to James's body. There were some tread patterns and visible blood near James's body. However, they were minimally discernible and appeared to be from tactical-type boots, like the ones worn by law enforcement. Detective Jason Hagen located Denise's cell phone on the floor of the hallway leading into the bathroom and determined that it was used to call 911. Quote, "Because the phone was used to call 911 and because the phone was not located near any of the deceased, this means the suspect potentially handled this phone," Hagen wrote in his report. He also wrote, "It was apparent that Jayme Closs attempted to barricade herself in the bathroom where she was killed. It appears a vanity drawer was pulled open to prevent the bathroom door from swinging in. The bathroom door was severely damaged and broken off and laying in part of that drawer. The shower curtain and rod were also pulled down. It seems possible, if not likely, that the suspect would have pulled it down." As the ERT members continued their search of the home, they found the family dog, Molly, trembling in fear behind the washer-dryer in the basement. She wouldn't come out for them. Officers saw family photos of the couple with their daughter, but the daughter was nowhere to be found inside the house. They soon realized Jayme Closs had been abducted. The FBI and the Wisconsin Department of Justice were called in for assistance. A Wisconsin crime alert, along with an Amber Alert, were issued for Jayme. Denise's phone, along with Jayme's phone, which was found in the kitchen, and James's phone, which was found in the bedroom, were sent to the FBI for analysis. DNA swabs were taken from throughout the crime scene, and the front door was even removed for processing because the suspect potentially handled it. Deputies conducted neighborhood canvasses to see if the neighbors heard or noticed anything. One neighbor said his wife woke up to hear the sound of a gunshot, followed quickly by a second one. Jayme's school bus driver said she hadn't seen her in a week because she was out sick from school. Autopsies were performed on James and Denise. The medical examiner determined they both suffered non-survivable gunshot wounds to the head and ruled their deaths a homicide. Tips began pouring in by the hundreds. Leads came in from as far away as Florida, but those were quickly ruled out. Investigators continued to look for possible suspects, including looking at sex offender lists. A Wisconsin Department of Corrections GPS tracking system showed no sex offenders were in Barron County at the time of the murders. Detectives spoke to Jayme's friends at her middle school. They checked out who was absent from the local middle and high schools on the following Monday and Tuesday. Search and rescue teams launched in the immediate area around the Closs home. Canine units conducted article searches, hoping to find a piece of clothing or any trace of Jayme. Trash was collected from Highway 8 near the home for the state crime lab to test for possible clues. State patrol officers combed through ditches, finding old flip-flops and shotgun shells, but nothing related to the case. Nearly 100 people volunteered to help the sheriff's office expand their searches. The FBI poured through any electronic devices recovered at the Closs home, including camera memory cards and an iPad. Detectives put together a go bag with clean clothes and shoes that could be brought to Jayme when she was found, if she was found.
Does one of us want to run back, download, and see what we have for plates on oncoming cars? Because they went one of two ways. Who's last?
I was last.
Do you want to run and download and try to see if you can pull any plates of cars going that way?
That maroon car that yielded?
Yeah, you're right.
I had it at 54.
We're close enough. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Run, download, and burn a copy quick and come on back.
The sheriff's office was particularly interested in the red car that had passed the deputies as they were rushing to the Closs's home. But the dashcam video was unable to pick up a license plate number. A casting of a tire impression from when the car pulled over onto the shoulder was submitted to the FBI crime lab. On October 21st, 2018, from 11:30 p.m. until 2 a.m., the Barron County Sheriff's Department conducted a checkpoint on the road in front of the house. All vehicles traveling were stopped for the purpose of determining if any of them may have heard or seen something around the time of the homicide. None had. On October 23rd, a second citizen search was conducted in the area of a 2.5-mile radius of the home. This time, 2,000 people came out to volunteer. The next day, the Barron County Sheriff's Department, in conjunction with the FBI, announced a $25,000 reward for information regarding Jayme's abduction. Denise's employer, Jenny O. Turkey Store, announced they would be matching that amount, bringing the total to a $50,000 reward. Posters were released to the public, posted on social media, and even on billboards on the surrounding highways. Missing Jayme Closs, it read in massive capital letters. Detectives submitted DNA samples from Denise and James in an attempt to create a DNA profile for Jayme to submit into a national database for missing persons. On October 25th, the house was released from the law enforcement supervision. James and Denise were laid to rest at their funeral on October 27th. But on that same day, in the early morning hours, a motion-activated camera picked up someone entering through the patio doors of the Closs residence. A deputy and canine quickly headed to the house and noticed several lights on and the blinds and shades open. The deputy ordered a man to come out with his hands up. Could this be the break they had all been waiting for? Would this man lead them to Jayme? The man said his name was Kyle Janke Annis.
No, I don't know her. All I do know is from everything that I have read, and for the simple fact is quite a few years ago, any child comes up missing, it pisses me off. And it makes me want to go fucking hunt him, the person, to find him.
Janke Annis was identified as a noted sex offender. He drank a half-gallon of chocolate milk from the Closs's refrigerator and left the carton in Jayme's bedroom. He then admitted to taking a pink shirt and other odds and ends from the home, including some underwear that he believed belonged to Jayme. Janke Annis told investigators that he took items he believed people wouldn't miss, and that he was curious about what size Jayme was. Investigators were able to determine, however, that he had nothing to do with the disappearance and murders. He was charged with burglary and later released from jail on bond. Tips now poured in by the thousands, but Jayme was still nowhere to be found. As part of the investigation, the FBI and the Wisconsin Department of Justice extracted data and analyzed the cell phones collected from the house. There was unexplained internet usage on 2 separate dates, both within a week of the murders. According to the data, Jayme and Denise's phones were used to access the internet at a location about 3 miles away from the Closs home. Detective Jason Hagen decided to conduct an experiment. He drove out to the area and watched as Denise's phone connected to a secure Wi-Fi without needing a password. He realized that it was highly likely the cell phone had connected to this Wi-Fi in the past and that the phone remembered the password. Jayme's phone also attempted to connect to the Wi-Fi, but was unable to get on the internet connection. But Detective Hagen spoke with the homeowner and determined that he had no known connection to Jayme or Denise. It seemed the Wi-Fi connection was an anomaly or erroneous data. Thanksgiving passed, and so did Christmas. The community held vigils and prayed for Jayme.
We all have the same goal in mind, and that is to bring Jayme home and back into our arms. We will continue to put our full trust in our law enforcement agencies who are leading this investigation.
Then, on January 10th, 2019, at 4:11 p.m., the Douglas County, Wisconsin Sheriff's Office received a 911 call.
Douglas County 911. Hi. I have a young lady at my house right now, and she says her name is Jayme Closs.
Had Jayme finally been found? Kristen Kasinkas told the 911 dispatcher that Jayme Closs was at her home in Gordon, Wisconsin. This was about 200 miles away from Barron County.
Okay, have you seen her photo, ma'am? Yes, it is her. I 100% think it is her. Are you okay? 100%. Does it look like she's going to run? No, she's sitting down, she's relaxing. Okay, hang on just a second.
Kristen was at her cabin up in the woods. It's a rural area where not a lot of people stay in the winter.
Okay, did she show up walking? Yeah, a neighbor just walked up with her to our house and asked us to call 911.
Kristen said her neighbor, Jeannie Nutter, told her that Jayme Closs walked up to her on the street. Jayme told Jeannie her name and said she needed help.
So how did she come up upon your cabin? I was walking my dog, and we were almost home, and she was walking towards me, crying, saying, "You got to help me, you got to help me." Okay. So I didn't want to go into my cabin because it's too close to Patterson's house. And she said her name is Jayme Closs? Yep. And when I walked into this house, they recognized her immediately from posters.
Jayme told them that the man who abducted her was named Jake Thomas Patterson. Jeannie knew the Patterson cabin was 2 doors down from hers. She didn't know Jake, but could see that there were cars in his driveway. Jayme said Jake left the house and she thought he was going to come back at midnight, but didn't know for certain.
So we're kind of scared because he might come. Yep. So if the cops could get here soon, we would. I have many deputies headed that way. I'm going to keep you on the line. Okay. And she said, "I am Jayme Closs." Yes. She said, "He killed my parents. I want to go home. Help me." And what was the male's name? Jake. Is it Jake? Jake Patterson? Jake Patterson. And she said he killed her parents and she wants to go home? Yes. She didn't know where she was. When I saw her, she was saying, "Where am I? Where am I?" And I said, "You're in Wisconsin." And did she say he's gone right now? Yes. Are they at a cabin? Well, I think he lives there year-round. And he's supposed to be back at midnight? Yes.
Jayme told them that Jake doesn't work and that he used to be in the military, and that he drives a red car. Jeannie said Jayme was in shock, was tired, with matted hair and messy clothes. 911 dispatchers told them to stay at the home and to not allow anyone inside except law enforcement.
Did she say where Jake is? You don't know where Jake is, right? She has no idea where he is. She told me that when he leaves her, she doesn't know that he's gone. He turns the music up real loud. Sometimes he has people come over to watch her.
Jayme said Jake would trap her under his bed for up to 12 hours at a time, without bathroom breaks or food. He would have people over and turn up the radio really loud. On that afternoon, Jayme said Jake boxed her under his bed and left the house. She was able to push out from under the bed, found an oversized pair of men's shoes, and broke free. At one point, Jeannie asked Jayme whether she was okay, and told her that she doesn't want her to be scared. Jayme said she wasn't afraid.
Okay, was there a deputy that knocked on the door, or you just saw him in the driveway? They're in the house. The cops are in the house. Oh, they're in there with you? Yeah, they just came in. Okay, Jeannie, perfect. Then I can let you go as long as the deputies are with you guys. Okay. Okay, thank you. Good job. Thanks. Bye. Bye-bye.
Douglas County deputies arrived at the house. Jayme was sitting on a couch, wrapped in a blanket and wearing slippers the neighbors had given her for warmth. She said she wasn't hurt. Worried the suspect's location was still unknown and might be in the area trying to find Jayme, the deputies made the decision to remove her immediately. The women gave her a hug and she walked outside with the deputies. Jayme sat in the front seat of the patrol car and they headed to the hospital for a medical examination. As they were leaving the neighborhood, the deputies saw a red vehicle pass them.
22, 18, 19, I got a red car that just passed me.
505, William, Nora, John, run it, Douglas. That car is coming towards you. 19 and 29.
29, copy.
That plate was back to Katie Patterson, 2004 Taurus Maroon.
22, just go.
Copy.
Coming around the corner right towards you.
Yeah, I'm going to see if there's a male driving. Yeah, it's a male driving.
Jayme was unsure if that was Jake's car, but it matched the description. It appeared a male was driving, so another deputy pulled the car over.
I'm going to do a traffic stop on it. It's got no rear license plate light.
918, let's go 1 detained.
Copy, 1 detained at 1654.
Sergeant DeRosa pulled behind the suspect vehicle while waiting for another squad to arrive. Once the vehicle passed the Patterson home, Sergeant DeRosa conducted a traffic stop. Sergeant DeRosa told the man to raise his hands in the air and to open his door. The man said his name was Jake Patterson. Sergeant DeRosa told him to step out of the vehicle. Jake said, "I know what this is about. I did it." Sergeant DeRosa asked him what did he do. Jake replied he wasn't going to say. Jake was placed in handcuffs and driven to the city office.
You're still being detained until we figure out what's going on, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
The deputies told Jayme that Jake was in custody. Jayme smiled. Deputy Patrick Carey stayed behind at the neighbor's house. He said they were noticeably upset. Some were crying and aimlessly pacing. But there was a breath of relief when they learned Jake was in custody. Sergeant DeRosa told Jake to make himself comfortable in the back seat because it was a long drive to headquarters. Jake was told he was no longer just in custody, he was under arrest. At 7:15 p.m., Detective Nelson sat down with him for an interview. Jake waived his Miranda rights and began answering questions. 21-year-old Jake Thomas Patterson was living in his father's cabin in Gordon, Wisconsin. He graduated high school in 2015. He enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, but was discharged after 1 month in boot camp. Jake said he thought about just taking a girl in 2016, 2 years before he decided to act on it. Quote, "I just thought about that a lot. Maybe a year after that, I was starting to think about how actually do I do this, like more specifically, not just in general." Jake said he was working a temporary job in Almena, Wisconsin, when he first saw Jayme getting onto a bus in October 2018. It was then he began to obsess about the idea of kidnapping her and holding her prisoner. He said he approached the Closs home on 2 different nights, but chickened out. On the night of October 15th, he was determined to go through with it. Quote, "I put that gun, my shotgun, in my mouth. I was telling myself, either I'm going to die or they are." He said he shaved his head and beard to avoid leaving any hair that could be traced back to him. He put a stolen license plate on his car and drove from Gordon to Barron. As he approached the house, he cut his lights and engine and then coasted down the driveway. Quote, I was telling myself, I have to do this. Once they see me, to at least having a chance of getting away with it. He said he shot James through a window, shot the locked door, and then kicked it in. He then kicked in the bathroom door and grabbed the cell phone out of Denise's hands. He told Denise to wrap Jayme's mouth in duct tape. But when he wasn't satisfied with how she did it, he put down the gun and wrapped Jayme's mouth, hands, and feet himself. Quote, "And then I grabbed the gun. I pointed it at Denise, just shot it, like right in the head. I didn't even look when I did it, like I looked away. He then told Jayme, just walk. And it's like I already forgot that her legs were tied or whatever. I was dragging her. And then I was just dragging her out of the house. I remember I stepped on James's blood and slipped almost slipped. And then, after that, I just dragged her, threw her in my trunk, and drove away. He kept the shotgun in the passenger seat and said he thought about shooting the cops had he been stopped. For the first 2 weeks, he kept the shotgun loaded and ready in the house, just in case the police arrived. He said they would watch TV, cook, and stay at the home. On January 10th, he went to apply for a job. When he came home in the afternoon, he knew he was, quote, fucked, when he didn't see Jayme under the bed. He saw tracks in the snow and a police car at a nearby house. He got back in his car to look for her. He said if he had just returned home a half hour sooner, he could have prevented her from running away. Jake said he's really good about not thinking about stuff, and he barely thought about the murders until the detectives asked him. The Law and Crime Network's Aaron Keller has more.
Patterson said he barely planned, had no clothes for Jayme to wear, but kept his gun loaded in case police showed up at his home. He said he assumed he could get an apartment with Jayme Closs or maybe let her go after a year. When asked what his punishment should be, Patterson said, I don't think Wisconsin has a death penalty. It's probably going to be life in prison.
The next morning, a child forensic interviewer from the FBI spoke with Jayme. She told her story. She said she told her parents a man was standing at their front door with a gun, who she was later able to identify as Jake Patterson. She hid with her mother in the bathtub with the door barricaded. She heard a gunshot and knew her father had just been killed. Her mom called 911, but Jake broke down the door. Jake, holding a shotgun in one hand, wrestled the phone away from Denise with his other hand and threw it aside. He told them, just be quiet, do what I say and I won't hurt you. According to prosecutors, Jake then pointed the gun at Denise's head and shot her at point-blank range.
The proximity of Jayme to her mother and the sound of that third shotgun blast in the small, confined bathroom, even more deafening than the first two blasts, would have jolted Jayme to the bone. The defendant didn't even look at Denise when he killed her. The defendant grabbed Jayme by the arm and dragged her out of the house, almost slipping on James's blood when he stepped over him and dragging Jayme through her father's blood on the way out the door. When he got to his car, he dropped Jayme at the driver's side door, threw the shotgun in the passenger seat, and then popped open the trunk. In his statement to police, Mr. Patterson said he told Jayme to be quiet and not to move or he would kill her.
Jayme said she heard police sirens shortly after they began driving away. She thought it was about 2 hours before they arrived at his home. For the next 88 days, Jayme was kept a prisoner in his house. She went into survival mode. He kept her in constant fear by yelling at her and threatened that something really bad would happen if she didn't follow his rules. He would get mad at her for no reason at all. He hit her really hard once with a curtain rod and warned he would do it worse the next time. She said he would make her hide under the bed and stacked totes and laundry bins so she couldn't see out. He placed weights like barbells and lifting equipment in front of them so she was unable to move them. It became her prison. Jake went out for Thanksgiving dinner and celebrated Christmas with his family, all while Jayme was confined under the bed. No bathroom breaks, no movement, no sound out of her for up to 12 hours at a time. Those were Jake's rules. Rules that she had to follow or something really bad would happen to her, he told her.
This horrific ordeal and the 88 days of trauma Jayme endured came to an end, not because of anything the defendant did, but because of Jayme's courage and will to survive. On Thursday, January 10, 2019, at approximately 4:00 p.m., Jayme, knowing full well what the defendant said would happen to her if he ever caught her trying to escape, did the incredible. Jayme summons the strength and courage of the bravest among us and decided no matter what happened to her, she was going to try and get away. She shoved the totes and weights away from the bed, crawled out from under the bed, managed to locate a pair of the defendant's sneakers and put them on, but was so hurried to get out of there before he caught her that she put them on the wrong feet. Seconds turned into minutes as she shoved the totes and weights away from the bed. With each step she took to escape, the terror of not knowing where he was got more and more intense.
Jayme questioned, was Jake still in the house? Was he standing outside the door? Would he drive up and find her as she was escaping? Jayme, wearing only pajamas, no coat or gloves on a chilly winter day, left her prison. She saw Jeannie Nutter walking her dog and yelled for help. Jeannie told the Law and Crime Network that Jayme is the real hero for breaking free, and that she herself was just in the right place at the right time with her dog.
When I saw her, I knew she was in trouble because I knew wherever she came from, she left in a hurry. I didn't know if somebody had just dropped her off or because she just had on a sweatshirt and leggings and shoes that were too big for her. So all I knew is when she told me who she was, I obviously know the circumstances of her disappearance and what happened to her parents, and I knew the person who had her was not a good person, and I needed to have her in a safe place.
Jeannie said she's a former social worker, and those skills kicked in. That's why she brought her to a neighbor's cabin to find safety in numbers to reach the police. Peter Kasinkas said he instantly recognized Jayme when they showed up at his doorstep.
In this whole thing, like I told Jayme when she was sitting on my couch yesterday, I just said, I am so glad to see you.
Over 2 days, investigators recovered 89 pieces of evidence from Jake's home. Those included a silver and black shotgun with 3 remaining shotgun shells, steel-toed boots, a black jacket, a black mask, and a stolen license plate. Jake was held at the Barron County Jail and was formally arraigned less than a month later.
The state is asking the court to set cash bail in the amount of $5 million. Mr. Patterson has no ties to Barron County. The allegations in the complaint are that he worked at Saputo Cheese Factory for 2 days. The only reason other than that for being in Barron County was to kidnap Jayme. State asks the court to look at the charges themselves. He's charged with 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, maximum sentence on each of those counts, life imprisonment. The count of kidnapping, 40 years, and the count of armed burglary, 15 years. The state asks you to consider the efforts he took to conceal himself as alleged in the criminal complaint, the modifications that he made to his vehicle so that police wouldn't find him, including stealing license plates on the vehicle near Serona, putting him on his vehicle before he went to the Closs residence so that if police did see him, they would not be able to trace his vehicle back to his plates. The fact that he disengaged his dome light to make sure that no one would be able to see him enter or exit his vehicle. The fact that he purchased a mask. The fact that he wiped down the shotgun that was located at his house and the shells that were used to kill James and Denise by his own words so that no DNA or fingerprints would be found.
The judge agreed with prosecutors and set Jake's bond at $5 million. He was ordered to not have contact with Jayme or anyone who helped rescue her. Meanwhile, investigators worked to build their case against him. The Wisconsin State Crime Lab determined Jake to be the single source of male DNA found on the shotgun recovered at his cabin. The 3 spent shotgun shells found at the Closs home were a match to the 3 bullets remaining in that shotgun. A pair of boots at the Pattersons' house had a mixture of 2 males' DNA, Jake Patterson and Jayme Closs. And Jamie's DNA was found on various items taken from his car. On February 28, 2019, KARE 11 reporter Lou Raguse received a handwritten letter from Jake. Raguse had mailed Jake 10 questions, saying, quote, "I'm a reporter for KARE 11 News in Minneapolis, and have been covering the case since Jayme disappeared. I have many questions that have not yet been answered through the court filings. Please write back if you can." Law and Crime's Aaron Keller has the details.
In a letter to a Minneapolis television station, Patterson says, "I knew when I was caught, which I thought would happen a lot sooner, I wouldn't fight anything. I tried to give them everything. Then Scribbles wasn't completely honest, so they didn't have to interview Jayme. They did anyways and hurt her more for no reason." The letter is filled with scribbled thoughts, but Patterson says he plans to plead guilty. "I want Jayme and her relatives to know that. Don't want them to worry about a trial." When responding to a question from a reporter about what led him to kidnap Closs in the first place, Patterson said, "It's not black and white." When asked if he had remorse, Patterson said, "Huge amounts. Then, I can't believe I did this." Patterson refused to detail his long-term plans after he admits he kidnapped Jayme, but he did take a swipe at the authorities.
88 days ago, we stood before you speaking about the unthinkable tragedy.
The cops say I planned this thoroughly and that I said that. They're really good at twisting your words around, put them in different spots, straight up lie. Little mad about that. Trying to cover up their mistakes, I guess. This was mostly on impulse. I don't think like a serial killer. When asked what was going through his mind when he started perpetrating the crime, Patterson said he was angry and didn't want to do it, but the reason I did this is complicated.
Jake revealed his own plans for his case, and on March 27, 2019, he appeared before Judge James Babler.
By signing this form, did you wish to indicate to the court that you've gone through the entire 2-page document and attachments with your lawyers? You understand it and wish to enter into this plea agreement?
Yes.
Jake agreed to plead guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of kidnapping. The burglary charge would be dismissed. In addition, the state would not file criminal charges against him for crimes committed in Douglas County. Now that his conviction was out of the way, the battle for his sentence would begin. Barron County District Attorney Brian Wright requested Jake be sentenced to the highest possible for the safety of the community, beginning with Jayme Closs.
The thought he gave to doing something, even after seeing the police, leaves little doubt about the grave danger that Jayme, Gene Nutter, and Peter and Kristen Kacinskas and their family were in if Mr. Patterson had found Jayme before police arrived. The defendant had already shown what he would do if anyone got in the way of what he wanted: kill anyone with Jayme and leave no witnesses behind. Mr. Patterson is a cold-blooded killer who traumatized a 13-year-old girl for 88 days. He brutally murdered James and Denise because they stood in the way of his getting away with kidnapping the girl he saw getting on a school bus, a girl whose name he didn't even know when he kidnapped her. The defendant insists he is a good person, and this makes him extremely dangerous. During Jayme's period of captivity, he told her that she had it really good at his residence, told her how good he was treating her, how she could have it a lot worse. On his job application, which he completed the day Jayme escaped, he wrote that he is an honest and hardworking guy. When he was interviewed, he told investigators, quote, "I'm like a nice guy most of the time," end of quote. Mr. Patterson's lack of insight into why he is not a good person makes him a continuing danger. He has no empathy or remorse for killing James and Denise.
Wright said Jake's words to the reporter that his reasoning for kidnapping Jayme was complicated was an indignity to James and Denise's lives. He said he murdered them in order to not get caught and viewed them as inconsequential. Wright said the one mitigating factor in the case was Jake's decision to plead guilty, but that shouldn't move the scale one bit.
The defendant will stop at nothing to get what he wants if he is ever released from prison. The need to protect the public starts with Jayme. If Mr. Patterson is ever released from prison, he will find Jayme, and when he does, her life will be in jeopardy. After 2 weeks, the defendant thought he had gotten away with murdering James and Denise and kidnapping Jayme. After 88 days, he was so confident he had gotten away with it that he applied for a job. He got caught because Jayme didn't follow his rules. He made it very clear that something really bad would happen to her if she didn't follow his rules. Not only did she not follow his rules, but in his self-obsessed way of looking at why he got caught, she betrayed him by escaping. It was because she escaped that he got caught. For Jayme's safety, the defendant can never be given an opportunity to bring about what he meant when he told Jayme that something really bad would happen to her if she didn't follow his rules.
Defense attorney Charles Glynn asked the judge to at least grant Jake the chance for parole so he could have access to treatment while in lockup. Glynn said the writer of the pre-sentence investigation report got carried away with emotion and made an unqualified analysis of Jake's mental health. The report recommended life in prison without the possibility of release.
They used language like Mr. Patterson succumbed to his twisted fantasies. Now, I'd expect to hear that from people, and we actually heard it today. We heard those words, but that's not the role of a PSI writer. They work for the state. This court ordered that PSI to be objective, and it wasn't. Throughout it, there is personal opinion and even some attempts at diagnosing Mr. Patterson with certain mental health diagnoses, which I don't believe the PSI writer is credentialed for. And is not able to do so, but did so nonetheless. Now, Mr. Patterson, Mr. Jones, and I fully understand that someone could get caught up in the strong emotion of this case. We've all lived through this. It's been a tough time. But to do that in the context of a pre-sentence investigation is just not right. And it doesn't assist the court in coming to a fair and just sentence.
The defense had a mental health expert interview and diagnose Jake. The expert found he did not have sociopathic or psychopathic tendencies. The doctor found there were no mental health diagnoses that applied to him and concluded that his actions were not part of escalating behavior arising from childhood or adolescence. Quote, Mr. Patterson severely overreacted to his loneliness and resulted disconnection to most people due to his self-imposed isolating behaviors. His criminal actions were a desperate attempt to inject some meaning into his life and give him a reason to live without regard for harm it would cause to others. Defense attorney Richard Jones said that the only reason they didn't take the case to trial was because their client didn't allow them to.
We found him to be direct, intelligent, honest with us, and remorseful. We found him to be a quiet man that struggled with the weight of his actions and the magnitude of what he had done. We found him to be a man so burdened by the magnitude of his actions that he would find it difficult to look at us. He was so burdened by his actions that he struggled to tell us a story that he'd already given to law enforcement in great detail. We came to realize it was because the significance of the story that he had told and the details of that story began to resonate, and he started to really appreciate what he had done. He was embarrassed. He was hurt. But he was willing to accept responsibility.
Jones said Jake insisted on pleading guilty and asked the judge to consider this as a huge mitigating factor. Jayme's aunt, Jennifer Smith, was appointed as her legal guardian. She spoke at Jake's sentencing hearing.
It's so heartbreaking. We now live in fear every day. Watch our backs. Have home security systems. We don't feel safe. I will say, I won't let you destroy my family no more. We can be happy again, smile more, move forward with life, and that's why we can. We will know you will be behind bars for the rest of your life and pay for all the evil you have done. I want justice for Denise, Jim, and Jayme.
Attorney Chris Gramstrup then read the following statement on behalf of Jayme. Quote, "Last October, Jake Patterson took a lot of things that I loved away from me. It makes me the most sad that he took away my mom and my dad. I loved my mom and dad very much, and they loved me very much. They did all they could to make me happy and protect me. He took them away from me forever. I felt safe in my home, and I loved my room and all of my belongings. He took all of that too. I don't even want to see my home or my stuff because of the memory of that night. My parents and my home were the most important things in my life. He took them away from me in a way that will always leave me with the horrifying memory." Jayme said that she has to have an alarm in her house now, just so she can sleep. That she used to love to go to school, hang out with her friends, and dance. She said he took all those things away from her, that she now can't do them because she gets scared and anxious. Quote, "But there are some things that Jake Patterson can never take from me. He can't take my freedom. He thought that he could own me, but he was wrong. I was smarter. I watched his routine and I took back my freedom. I will always have my freedom, and he will not. Jake Patterson can never take away my courage. He thought he could control me, but he couldn't. I feel like what he did is what a coward would do. I was brave. He was not." Judge Babler allowed Jake the opportunity to speak before issuing his sentence.
"I would do, absolutely anything to take back what I did, I would die. I would do absolutely anything to bring them back, I don't care about me. I'm just so sorry."
Judge Babler told the Closs family that he's sorry for what they endured. He said James and Denise Closs did what good parents could do and gave up their lives as their daughter was kidnapped. Judge Babler quoted Jake's statement in which he said he fantasized about kidnapping girls and killing their families. Jake repeatedly shook his head throughout the hearing, at one point interrupting the judge and saying, "Why don't you read the rest of the letter? I wrote a lot more than that and you're ignoring it."
There is no doubt in my mind that you are one of the most dangerous men to ever walk on this planet. There is talk of your remorse, but as the agent points out in the PSI, there's a difference between regret and remorse. Regret means you're sorry that you're caught. Remorse means you have empathy for the victims. I have no doubt that you have regret, and I have no doubt that you have no remorse. The overriding factor in this sentencing is the protection of the public. The rest of the public deserves liberty and justice. You have had long-term thoughts prior to committing these crimes, including kidnapping multiple girls, killing multiple families, and keeping a young girl prisoner. You are the embodiment of evil.
Jake Patterson was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He registered officially as a sex offender. While in Wisconsin's Dodge Correctional Institution, Jake was accused of threatening to attack another inmate. Due to safety concerns, authorities later transferred him to a prison in New Mexico. While in New Mexico, Jake was seen on video getting into a fight with an inmate there. It's unclear what the two were talking about, but the other inmate appears to lunge at Jake, who then takes a swing at his head. A guard can then be seen firing a beanbag gun towards them. Jake puts his hands in the air and lays down. According to the sheriff, the 7-month case generated 32,000 tips, nearly 700 pieces of evidence, and the longest-running active Amber Alert in Wisconsin history. Jayme has been living with relatives and her dog, Molly. State lawmakers honored her as a hero at the state capitol. And 1 year after her kidnapping, Jayme released a statement to the public. Quote, "I really want to thank everyone for all the kindness and concern that people all over the country have shown me. I am very happy to be home and getting back to the activities that I enjoy. I love hanging out with all of my friends, and I feel stronger every day." And that's all for this episode. Let me know what you think about this case by joining the conversation on Instagram @CourtJunkie, tweeting me @CourtJunkiePod, or by emailing me at podcast@courtjunkie.com. This episode was researched and written by Jennifer Tintner from the Law and Crime Trial Network. Follow her on Twitter @JenniferTintner. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.